Like and subscribe right now, or you're gonna have terrible luck for the next week. Throughout history, people have progressed and gone from living in caves to huts to castles to blocks of flats. Nowadays, as humanity continues to evolve, it seems like you can find an example of any house design possible. That might sound great, but when you see some of the strangest houses we've found, you might think twice. Hi there, this is 100M, and in this video, we're showing you the top 10 strangest houses in the world. Number 10. Transparent House, Tokyo, Japan. With this house, the phrase "nothing to hide" takes on a whole different meaning. Known as House NA, this 914 square foot transparent house was built by So Fujimoto architects. The insides of this house have hardly any walls, and it boasts of large glass windows, which, on the bright side, offers plenty of daylight, but however, no privacy. Just about everything you do in this house is fully exposed to neighbors and passersby. It might surprise you to find that this sleek, contemporary aesthetic was and is associated with the concept of living within a tree. The design of House NA appears to mimic a tree without outright copying its appearance. According to architects, House NA was built to honor the ancient Japanese people who inhabited trees. Number 9. World's Slimmest House. Somewhere in Warsaw, Poland, an architect named Jacob Szczesny decided to build a home from a void between two buildings. Why? Well, because he could, of course. Szczesny built a series of vertical spaces into the void, including a kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, and lounge area. The architect, who worked on bringing his dream to reality for 3 years, revealed that he was inspired to build the super slim house by the stories of an Israeli writer named Etgar Keret, and as such, the house was named the Keret House. You might assume that such a thin house that's crammed between two large buildings would feel dark and claustrophobic when you step inside, but a transparent roof, open stairways, and a wall of windows enable lots of sunlight to stream inside, making it less dark and gloomy than it would have been. The Keret House is set about 10 feet above the ground, is 33 feet in depth, and about 30 feet tall. Its size prevents it from being a permanent residence, but it still functions as a place for artist residencies lasting from 5 to 7 days. Number 8. Slide House. This spectacular home in Japan is a rectangular building with a staircase that wraps all the way around one side of the house, connecting all 3 floors. A staircase goes around the other side of the house. On each floor, the occupants can decide whether to descend via the stairs or slide. This house was designed by Level Architects and was intended for a couple with 3 young children who wanted their kids to have a childhood filled with the most happy and fun memories. What better fun than incorporating slides into their childhood home? This just might be the dream house every adult's inner child wants, save for a house made of food or candy. Number 7. World's Smallest 1 square meter house. Berlin-based architect von Bohle-Menzel and founder of the popular Hearts 4 mobile DIY initiative created this 1 square meter house, which is probably the smallest house in the world. As the name implies, the 1 square meter house only occupies 1 square meter, but it's remarkably adaptable. The itty-bitty, teeny-weeny DIY wooden structure can be used as a dwelling place, mobile kiosk, or even an extra room inside your apartment. Because of the flipping mechanism, it can be used both vertically or horizontally. It can be laid down flat for sleeping or propped upright to act as a miniature mobile shop or meeting place. And since it has wheels, it's possible to roll it away to some other place. It consists of a wood frame, slide window, and a lockable door. The house weighs only 40 kilos and has wheels, which makes moving it around much easier. Menzel's design emerged amid an overarching desire to have at least 1 square meters of space in the world. That was his and his alone. Number 6. The Hobbit House, Wales. When you see this house, the first thing you might quickly notice is its striking resemblance to the Hobbit houses, famously written by Lord of the Rings author J.R.R. Tolkien. In fact, it's more than just a resemblance. It's exactly what you think it is. The Hobbit House of Wales is regarded as one of the most eco-friendly structures in the world thanks to its exquisite design and charming interior. Although neither tiny in stature nor with hairy feet, the family that resides in the Hobbit House, the Dale family, has the pleasure of calling a Hobbit-sized and designed house home in Wales. The family father, Simon Dale, a designer and builder, decided to drop all convention and uproot his family from the city life and live a much more nature-centric and sustainable life. Dale reportedly built his magnificent eco-friendly house in 4 months with help from family, and get this, the entire house only cost $3,000. A whole house and a beautiful one at that. The builder made sure that every element of his house was constructed in such a way that it synchronized perfectly with nature at every point. If that isn't brilliant and creative thinking, then I don't know what is. Number 5. The Flintstones house, Malibu, California. Many people grew up watching one of the most beloved cartoons, The Flintstones, and clearly, the architect of this house took it way more personally than some other people. In Malibu, California, American television and radio legend Dick Clark owns a very special house, the romantic Flintstone Retreat House. This house sits on a nice 23 acres in Malibu and offers its inhabitants a stunning 360-degree view of the mountains, the sea, and the cityscapes that surround it. At first sight, and probably every time you see it, this home would make you say, "Yabba dabba doo," like Fred Flintstone typically would. The moment you step into this house, you would instantly have the feeling of being a modern-day Fred with the aura and design of this house. Some people just really go on to live their dreams, don't they? Number 4. Dumpster Home, New York City. You're still paying to buy regular houses? How old school is that? This California designer named Gregory Clowen decided that he was going to leap a couple of feet into the future, or the past, we're not really sure here, and build a home made of a dumpster. Yes, those ubiquitous steel receptacles for trash. With the rise of micro-apartments in the early 2010s, Gregory Clowen converted a $2,000 commercial dumpster into a fully functional living space, complete with bathroom, bed, barbecue, and a deck. The small kitchen sits in one corner of the dumpster house and contains a microwave and small stove, both of which are powered by a propane tank. Clowen's unique living space is where he calls home whenever he's in the Big Apple. Interestingly, the amount that he spent to fix up his unusual dumpster home was slightly higher than the amount Manhattan residents averagely pay per month as rent. For mobility, the designer fixed up his simple 6-foot by 6-foot house with wheels so he could always relocate whenever he felt like it. The water that Clowen uses in his house is supplied by a 6-gallon rainwater tank that sits on the roof. With this rainwater tank, he also has a tiny toilet and an outdoor shower. It can't be the most spacious house around, but it does seem pretty smart and cool in its own way. Number 3. Egg House, Beijing, China. This was the thought process of a 27-year-old Dai Haifei in 2010. After years of living in humbler dwellings, Dai Haifei, 27, finally got to become the owner of his own house, joining tens of millions of Chinese who are paying off mortgages. But alas, Dai was not your average new homeowner. Back in 2010, he drew headlines nationwide for living in an egg-shaped house of his own design, a move which many took to be a silent protest against skyrocketing house pricing. That wasn't Dai's plan though, he just needed a place to live. He built himself an egg-shaped house on a sidewalk. The small egg house served his basic requirements and was totally powered by solar energy. And it was cheap too. It only cost him $964 to build. Talk about a solution provider.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
Today's best pick was sent in by a subscriber. If you come across a photo you'd like to know more about, make sure to send it in, and who knows, you just might get lucky and get your photo featured. Number 2. Cliff House, Australia. If you've ever heard the saying, living on the edge, you might appreciate the architects of this house and how literally they took the saying. Created by Modscape Concept, the aptly named Cliff House is a 5-story vacation home designed for use off the southwest coast of Victoria. The house is built from prefabricated modules that are stacked onto each other and anchored to the cliff with the help of steel pins, pretty much like how barnacles cling to the hulls of ships. If you aren't terrified by the idea of hanging off the edge of a cliff over the ocean, the Cliff House would actually be the perfect vacation spot for you.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works.
Number 1. Go Host House, DELME, France. Located on the grounds of La Synagogue de Delme Contemporary Art Center in Delme, France, there's something you need to see. The Go Host House is a gallery and visitor center with what you would describe as a striking spectral exterior. It's not easy to describe this house in words. Designed by architects Berdager and Pajou, this house is a renovated prison house, school, and a funeral home. The haunting all-white exterior is made of polystyrene coated in light resin, and let me tell you, this building is eerily stunning. We've come to the end of this video. Thank you for sticking around. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more amazing content.